Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and today we are looking at a brand new theory for Bendy and the Ink Machine. What is the significance of a wheelchair in the flashback sequence at the end of Chapter 1? Recently, we looked at the image of Bendy standing next to Henry's desk, and I would advise you to check that video out to give additional context to this particular theory. But before we dive into this theory, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified every time a new video drops. The wheelchair is a mysterious image that flashes up when Henry enters the pentagram room at the end of Bendy Chapter 1, which is then preceded by an image of the ink machine itself. It is followed by an image of Ink Bendy standing beside Henry's desk, so what does this all mean? Well, I would like to begin by stating that I believe the wheelchair belongs to a particular character in the Bendy universe, and that character is Joey Drew. So with this in mind, why does Joey need a wheelchair? Well, I think this may be for one of two reasons. The first being that Joey may have been a soldier in World War I. We know that Bendy and the Ink Machine is set around the 1930s, as we can see this not only by looking at the style of art, music and animation synonymous with this time period, but also by tweets from the developers themselves. We can also look at the various posters advertising the Bendy cartoons, which have the message, "Buy bonds," written upon them. Bonds were a way in which during times of war in America, patriotic citizens and businesses could help finance the armed forces. So with this information we can see that Joey Drew used his cartoons to help encourage people to aid the American army, which would suggest Joey was both patriotic and had potentially fought in World War I himself. With this information in hand, it is within the realm of possibility that Joey was injured during his tour, and this injury on the battlefield led him to end up in a wheelchair. Perhaps he was shot in the leg and could no longer walk. This theory also adds to Joey's apparent unstable mental state, as many soldiers return from war mentally scarred and suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. The other possibility would be that Joey was simply very unwell. After all, medical practices have greatly advanced over the years, and in the early 1900s, sickness was highly common and far harder to treat. So it could be Joey fell ill and ended up in a wheelchair as a result. After all, we see this inaccessible infirmary during Chapter 2, so it could be that he required around-the-clock care when working. So now we know the possible reasons as to why the wheelchair belongs to Joey. What about its significance in relation to the story being told in Bendy and the Ink Machine? Well, let's look at what we know about Joey. We know he has written a book called The Illusion of Living. We know he doesn't have a great sense of humour. And we know he is very controlling and stubborn. We also know that he seems a little unhinged.
Oh my god. Joey, what were you doing?
After all, he had an ink machine built and his entire workshop rebuilt to accommodate it, all while forcing members of his staff to contribute towards a ritual that would appease the gods.
Joey had each one of us donate something from our workstation. We put them on these little pedestals in the break room to help appease the gods, Joey said. I think he's lost his mind.
It is my belief that Joey was either sick and tired of his disability holding him back, or worse, was on his deathbed and decided to use the ink machine as a way to reanimate the dead and breathe life into his cartoon creations while doing so. An extreme art form that would give him new life and wow the world by literally bringing his creations to life. I have a theory explaining this in detail which I will link at the end of this video, so check that out. So now the flashing images make a whole lot more sense. The wheelchair represents Joey's sickness, both physically and mentally. The image of Bendy by Henry's workstation represents the cartoons brought to life from Page to the human realm. The ink machine shows us how that plan was realised. The last piece of the puzzle falls into place when we look at Ink Bendy himself. We can see that Ink Bendy has what appears to be a limp, and with Joey potentially being the owner of this wheelchair, could this mean that Joey has in fact reanimated himself as Bendy? Meaning that Henry is actually helping his old work partner grow more powerful and dangerous with each task he carries out. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And that's it for today's video guys. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe for more horror related content, including theories, analysis and let's play videos. And I will see you on the next one.